Welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host Gungu Mildred, and I'm so delighted, so grateful, so thankful that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Click, Click, Bang by Mkurugenzi by Philip Production. Oh my god. Like, I've watched this movie. This is the third time I was watching it for this review. But I think not even the third, I think the fourth time or something like that. Either fourth or the fifth time. But as I always say, every time I repeat a movie or a TV series, I always learn something new. Like, I'll be watching and be like, oh, I don't remember that happening. Or, is that what really happened? I ask myself questions as if somehow that movie changed from the previous time that I watched it. Which is crazy because surely, like in this one, spoiler alert, Kasisi gets stabbed by Kev, but then he doesn't die. In my mind, he died on the spot. But then when I was rewatching it and I see him answering his phone, and I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. But really? Like, he didn't die? And it's as if they reacted that part and put it back. But anyway, so it's always a good thing for me to rewatch movies. As I said, this is my fourth or fifth time rewatching this, but I love it because it's made in Kenya by Kenyans, and I love Mkurugenzi so much. So it's always an honor to watch it and to just rewatch it every time that I feel like, yeah, I need some inspiration from my country people, okay? So let's get right into it. Click Click Bang is a 2022 movie directed by Philip Karanja and Michael Munyoki, and the writer is Abel Mutua, the best script writer in the 254. The movie was well received when it first aired, and it was also well received when it got onto Netflix. So yeah, it's a really good movie. So the actors are Nyakundi Saboke, who plays Kasisi, Basil Mungai, who plays Kevin Motego, Jackie Vike, who plays Mokeira, Amina Hussein, she plays Kadesa, Ida Alicia, she plays Olivia, Shigwan Shiko, she plays Mamushka, Butita makes an appearance, OJ makes an appearance, and so does Mkurugenzi himself. So they all play very small parts, other than OJ actually. He ran his mouth for quite a while, and the other person who ran his mouth quite as much was definitely Butita. But then Mkurugenzi's part was very minimal, but he was funny, of course, as usual. As expected. But yeah, those are their beautiful casts of Click Click Bang. That's of course with other people because there are other cast members. There's this lady, I have forgotten her name, but she has acted in quite a couple of Kenyan movies. And there's also an appearance by Calligraph Jones and other cast members. So basically, there are other people. You can go watch it and you'll see all of them. Okay? So, Click Click Bang follows a boy whose dreams were crushed by this Kenya of ours. Or it's based on a true story because, so for those who do not know, Abel Mutua aka Mkurugenzi has a YouTube channel and he tells stories. So he has a couple of segments. So there's headline hitters, there's young and stupid, there's dire stories, and others. So in one of these stories, when he was starting, because he started during COVID, that is in 2020, he started telling us these stories and people started sending him stories to tell us. So this story of Click Click Bang was sent in by the real Kadesa. So the lady who, when I tell the story, will understand who Kadesa is and what role she played. So when the story was told to Mkurugenzi, it was told from Kadesa's point of view. So it is loosely based on the true story of Kev. Yeah. So Of course, Kurugenzi, while he was writing the script, he added a few things here and there just to give it, a little bit of a volume or whatever you want to call it, like so that it can be a movie. But the story is loosely based on the character played by Basil Mungai. Okay, so understand it, and it's very, very emotional. And also, there's a part of the movie that also touches Jackie Vike's personal life. So, because if you have ever had her whole story, she tells a story about her brother, and this touches on her brother a little bit. So, yeah, it is very emotional if you start thinking it from such points of view. So, Click Click Bang. Click Click Bang starts off with there's this boy who's just riding a bicycle, and when he gets to where he's going, there's a man who's been tied on a post kwa mtaa, like in the area where they're living. There's somebody who's tied there and he's dead. He was shot on the head and he's dead and he's tied there, and people are looking at him. The police are there, and there's this, what are they called? Crime scene something. I've forgotten the term. Sorry, forgive me. But yeah, there's that person taking photos and stuff from that area. And so people are staring. The police chases the kid away. And then the camera moves to a guy in a corner that is Kasisi. Kasisi ni jambazi moja mtrue sana. The best jambazi. I remember even when the movie finally came out on Netflix, I remember texting Judy Nyawera, Abel's wife, and I was on Instagram and I was like, hey, like Kasisi ni jambazi mwingine roho safi sana. Because, yo, that guy was for himself and the people around his community. Ataibia mtaa ingine akuja saidia watu community yake. Apate mama mboga, mama akiibiwa ampelekee kakitu. And you are being helped, you don't know that Kasisi has stolen that money. Okay, they knew, because the thing that happens kwa hizi mtaa inakwanga, people always know who the thief is, and aibiangi hiyo mtaa yao, hiyo iba mtaa ingine anakuja nayo kwao. So people will always know who the thieves are, they just never do anything about it. But anyway, so Kasisi jambazi mtrue ako hapo, and he looks on because he knows this guy, and then we move on from that scene. So we are shown Kev is an aspiring footballer. He had just participated in a match where he played his all, like they were going to be chosen to go, I think it was Norway or somewhere in the in Europe to be playing football. If it's not Norway, please forgive me. I tend to get mixed up with names. I'm sorry. Names of people, names of places. So please forgive me. But yeah, so he was going to play there, and they were just waiting to hear the person who was making the decisions. So he leaves the house. His sister Mokera is sick. Mokera is played by Jackie Vike. So she's sick. She's undergoing dialysis. She needs a kidney transplant. So Kevin is thinking that if he goes to this European country to play football over there, he'll get all the money that he'll need to be able to help his sister get the kidney transplant that she needs, and get the medication, and also to be able to afford dialysis. So he's happy, he's optimistic, he's like, yeah, this is going to happen, we play such a good game, blah blah blah. And so he leaves. On his way, he passes through where Kasisi sits with his gang. Hata see, like, they're not in a group per se, but Kasisi, as I said, ni mtu wa watu. So he's there in a corner mahali. Unajua tu kuna vijana ukaa kwa mtaa. So he's in such a place, and there he says hi, he sits there. Kasisi even gives him a little bit of money, and anamwambia like, wacha niweze kuinvest kwa hii future yako. And like the way Kasisi was talking about him, you could say that he really loved him and really believed in him and wanted the best for him. Because this is the thing. Criminals don't do it just because they want to be criminals. At least most of them. This is what this show was trying to tell us anyway. They do it to survive. But then they always be like they always tell themselves like, if my life would change, or if I could get somebody who could help me in another way, I could stop this. So he was very happy. Paka anabaki akiambia wase like, huyu boy akimake it, mimi mtashangaa, nitakuwa navaa viatu designer nini nini and all of that. Like, he was just so happy for him. And so Kevin leaves and goes to the pitch where they usually do their matches and stuff. So he goes there and his coach is there and everybody else is there and they're talking, they're waiting for the call and the call comes through. The person who voices that call is Abel Mutua, by the way. And so he's talking to this coach. The coach is played by this guy. I don't know his real name. I've forgotten it rather. As I said, I'm terrible with names. I have to write the cast names down in order to remember. Otherwise, I'm just terrible with names. So he's the guy who plays Charlie on Mother-in-Law on Citizen TV on Sundays. So yeah, he talks to so the phone call comes through, they start talking, and this person like anawasifia kabisa. He tells them how they played a good game and everything was okay and everything, like this gets so excited. Kevin gets so excited, he's like yeah, until the caller says, if only I was the one who was making the final decision or something like that. And everybody, is just like, yo. Because they're on loudspeaker, he asked the coach to remove him from loudspeaker so they can talk to him alone. And when he does, he's like, hey, I'm sorry. I know you're waiting for this, but the group decided to go another way. And it's like, what do you mean? Yeah, they chose so and so for that part. So of course it breaks his heart and he has to go and tell, Kevin. So Kevin like feels like betrayed, which I understand because I would feel it too. So he tells him like, yo, so yeah, it didn't happen. They went with another person. And it happens that this other person they went with is a politician's child or is doing nephew or something. In he's just related to a politician. So of course he got the part. And somebody who was well deserving like Kevin, he didn't. So Kevin, of course, he feels so bad. He's like shattered and everything. He's looking at his life, all the things that he needs to do for his sister and everything. And all of those things he can't do now because, yeah, that is their decision and that's what they've decided and he can't do anything about it. So he goes home and he's distraught and he goes and talks to Kasisi and asks him like, can I join this business that you do? Kasisi tells him, I don't do my business with other people. I'm not a group person. I do my thing alone. And I never want to hear you talking about doing the job that I do. So enda industrial area, tafuta kitu kama wanaume wengine, but don't ask me to ever do this kind of job. And so Kevin agrees, but he used to respect Kasisi so much. So he goes and he finds a job at a company ya unga. But then uko they the person who is paying him anakulia pia yeye, like anafaa kulipa I think 400 per day, but the guy pays him less. Amechukua sijui 100 ya ati lunch alimnunulia, amerudi kuchukua tena sijui pesa ya nini ati tax, like it was just crazy. So he doesn't go back there. He gets another job, which I don't know what he was doing. Like he did a couple of odd jobs. Moja akaenda kwa mjengo huko akamtoa mbio, wakamtandika, akamnyang'anya kila kitu. He came back home amevaa, you see zile karatasi zinaekangwa cement. Yeah, ilikuwa imetobolewa mkono na kichwa na huku chini amevaa kaskat. So oh yeah, Kevin. So of course he passes by Kasisi and Kasisi laughs at him because everybody's laughing because what happened? Paka Kasisi anamwambia nyewe umefanywa mbaya. Every day he was going, he would tell Kasisi like, hey, leo nimepata kazi ya kitu fulani, and Kasisi anamush the best like poa, end of fine. And so eventually he's like, so while he's there with Kasisi, that kid in the first scene who was riding the bike, he comes and finds them and is like, kuendelea kuongea hapa and your sister amekimbizwa hospitali. So of course they rush to the hospital and they're told, hey, you know what? You are supposed to bring your sister every week for dialysis. I told you never to go more than 10 days without bringing her. Was it 10 days or 7 days? I don't know, something like that. And he was like, it's not my fault. And yeah, we wanted to, but we didn't have the money, so we couldn't come. So the doctor is like, okay, I'm going to do something for her, but you go to the cashiers and let them tell you how much you owe. And so Kasisi agrees because Kevin was like, let me just join you. Let's do this job together. I'm good because I'm a football player, I'm worth it. Like I can run, blah, blah, blah. And so Kasisi is like, okay, fine. I'm going to allow you to work with me. He gives him a phone and he's like, tomorrow I'll call you. But for today, he gives him some money and he's like, go and take care of your sister. And also buying nguo juu hizo mavitu umevaa manze zitaogopesha wagonjwa. And so Kasisi leaves. And so they do a couple of odd jobs like kuibia watu. They stole this kibeti from this lady, wakagawana pesa nusu nusu. As I said, Kasisi alikuwa mpoa. He helped out kids, he helped out a mother with her child, he helped out wase kwa hiyo mtaa tu, until there's a time they had stolen something. Was it in town? There's a guy mwenye alikuwa anatoka bank, wakaenda wakamuibia and they ran with the money. Alafu there's this guy who just comes out of nowhere and is like, pia anataka kupewa, which is odd because we did all the hard work for you to come and just take. You don't go to steal. Alafu anaza kupatia nani Kev advice zingine za upuzi, like if he wants money, he should just go and sleep with women and they'll give him, like older women, and they'll give him all the money that he needs. Anyway, ni mambo ya like walikuwa wanaongea sheng, alafu imekuwa ile setting ya ghetto, so there's a lot of sheng and there's a way they talk. There's a way the people talk enye iko ukisikia kama ujazoea utadhania ni matusi and stuff. Ni matusi ndio, but they say it sio out of malice, if that makes sense. So yeah, but anyway, the way that guy was talking alikuwa anamuongelesha tu vibaya, of course, because he's just a terrible person. Anyway, so there's a lot of things happening. They come wanagawana blah blah blah, but then the money is not enough. So Kev nyumbani anasaidia sister yake mbaya, anaenda dialysis. It was during the 2007 election. So ilikuwa hiyo time, it was during Christmas. So June December, it happens that hiyo time wasa walikuwa na vote after Christmas. So this is what was happening at that time. So hiyo time ya Chrissy, Kev ameenda amenunua Christmas tree, amebuy nini, decorations, blah blah blah, ameleta. Even the way he talks to the sister, like ndo nakwambia they sheng, they speak. Ukisikia kutoka nje utadhania ni wanatukanana, like they hate each other and stuff, but no, it's just the way they speak. So they mix juma sose madiri, and the sister is like, ulitoa wapi do? Because she asks, and he lies that he's working for a particular guy who wants a coach for his son. So he's been coaching him and he gets paid 25k or something like that every time he coaches the son, ama kitu kaa hiyo. But anyway, money was coming in. Of course, the sister was doubting, but the sister had a friend, Olivia. She's played by Ida Alisha. So Olivia used to come and hang out na Mokera, alafu, but she was eyeing Kevo. So she wanted Kevo. And every time she will come and see Kevo, she'll be shy and be blushing and stuff. And of course, Mokera alikuwa naona anashikanisha, like, but she had never said it out loud until one day she was like, hey, you know what? I feel like your brother. So, and Mokera's like, what are you, like, you fancy my brother? So they had this whole conversation, alafu akampatia picha yake apatie Kev, which was weird. Hata kama ni kukatiana, that's a weird way kukatia mtu, but anyway, she did that. So by the time this is happening, Kev wameamua ataka pesa more, and it was after Christmas, the post-election violence, so people could not go out to the shops na nini. You're not supposed to be seen out past 7 p.m. and stuff like that. So that was bad for Wezi, because a thief wants to go out at night to steal. But then if there's a curfew, they cannot be out after 7 p.m. Then wanakulia wapi? And hata mchana si rahisi, because maskari pia wako kila mahali. And if you remember the post-election violence of 2007, 2008, you remember how police were everywhere during the day and during the night. So yeah, like they couldn't just do their thing even during the day. So they decide, we need to do this thing. Like, we do a big job once, but then we make a lot of money. Instead of using ndogo ndogo za tunapata kapesa hapa ka 5k, ka 10k, ka 20k at most, tuende tufanye kazi kubwa. And where can we do that? In a matatu. So they go to this mama. This mama mboga, hiyo ndo kazi yake officially. Like, that's what people see. Kazi yake ni ya kuuza mboga. And so but chini ya maji yeye ndo supply ya the thieves around that area with guns. So she she starts flirting with Nani, with Kevin, which was very unsettling for me. Look, I was raised by my grandma, and sometimes, as much as I'd hate to agree, I feel like some things she used to tell me, they sunk deep. Unajua ni ile kitu mzazi anakuambia lakini unasikia unabaki, me, I do not agree with you, what you're saying, I do not agree with that, But then you grow up, and then you hear people talking a certain way or dressing a certain way. And even though you want to believe that you're woke and whatever, you hear your parents' voice at the back of your head every time. That happens with me in a lot of situations. Like, I know, like, do whatever you want, your dress, your choice, whatever, it's fine. But then just sometimes I would hear my grandmother's voice in the back of my mind, and I'm like, yo, just leave me alone, remove me from these shackles, please. But yeah, I would never change anything. Yeah, my grandmother raised me right, so that's a good thing. So anyway, this lady, the reason I was uncomfortable is because she's elderly. Like, she's almost my grandmother's age, or my grandmother's age even. Because as I said, ameact vipindi kadhaa. I don't know why I've forgotten her name. Like, I don't, but hapo alikuwa anaitwa Madhe. So they go, they talk, Kasisi talks to her, and they get the gun from, actually no, the first time they just talk. The first time they just talk because Kasisi was going to pay. Yeah, he was going to pay her some money that he owed her. Apparently, every day he has to pay her something. But then later on, when they decide this, they go back and they take a gun from there. Yeah. So they take a gun from her. And so they go, they organize themselves. But then before ende kuingia kwa matatu, they go to this shop and they're taking sijui crisps na nini, and they're complaining why the crisps are so expensive and stuff. And then Kasisi is like, hii gani ukiibeba hivi nasikia like inanipatia nguvu fulani, it's emanating some energy, like it's just making me feel some type of way, blah blah blah. So he's like, let's do, wacha tuchachishe kidogo. They turn on the shopkeeper and they're like, tupatie nini nini kila kitu iko kwa yenye umetengeneza leo, like all the money, give us all the money. And so she does, she gives them the money. And that part, I think they just chose somebody mwenye kumsaidia tu or something, they just needed an extra. Cause her acting, hiyo kutetemeka yake, I was like, yo, come on, seriously. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with her per se, I just didn't like her acting, but it was good anyway. Ni akina mkurugenzi, anything they touch turns into gold, so I didn't care. But yeah, that part, you acting yake ya kutetemeka, I didn't, it was too exaggerated. But anyway, so they steal from there and they leave the shop laughing and stuff. Like, Kasisi ni mtu anakuibia na kumake una feel vizuri pia the end. Like, sijui. But yeah, so they laugh at and they leave. And so they go, they plan wataingia kwa hiyo nini gari matatu, and they steal from there. So they go into the matatu, wakienda kuingia hivi wani wakienda kusimama wanze kazi yao, Kasisi amesimama anaenda kutoa gun, and then Butita plays a part, hajapewa jina yote, he's just like an extra. So Butita anasema anamuita Kasisi nini, and he starts talking like, yo, ni siku mingi jo, nini lo, sisi sijui fanya nini kama sijakula jaba yako, blah blah blah, and all of that. And so Kasisi is like, oh shoot, okay fine. Alafu anamwambia hata mimi nilikuwa nashukia hapa. Kasisi nani, Butita anamwambia hata mimi nashukia hapa. So they are light, and then so hiyo imeharibu biashara hiyo siku. Then when they meet up together, baadaye Kev and Kasisi, Kev is like, you know what, it's a good thing that what happened, ukashuka na huyo msee, because I had to sit in the matatu and think about some things. People go to town to make money, but then when they are coming back home, that's when they come with the money. So instead of us stealing kwa matatu zinaenda tao, why don't we steal matatu zinarudi mtaa? And Kasisi is like, okay, sawa, I agree. That sounds like a good idea. That's what we'll do. But then Kev is like, in order for us to do such a job, we will require more people. because we can't just do it the two of us. And he's like, yeah, we'll think about it, we'll see. So in between this time hii yote vituko zote zinafanyika, there's this time Kasisi wali, I think the second time ama the first time he was meeting with Kev to go and steal, walipatana kwa stage, and while they were there, a matatu was passing by, and this lady Kadesa was in the matatu. So while Kev was waiting for Kasisi, he looks at the matatu passing, and he sees this lady, and the lady is looking at him, and they remember each other and stuff. So they used to go to the same school, but then she transferred, or something like that. Actually, yeah, they used to go to the same school, then she transferred. And when that happened, they lost touch. But then that was in primary school. So now they are adults. And so Kadesa goes, she used to have a crush on him. He used to have a crush on her. And so Kadesa goes home and starts like looking for him. And she calls a friend and she's like, yo, do you remember a guy by the name blah, 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 blah? He used to be nini, nini, nini. So the friend tells her, I put after him to Flani, African Ronaldo or something. And so she goes, actually on the search on Facebook, she searched for Mokera. So through Mokera, she found him. And so she follows him and sends him a message. And from there, they start meeting, they go on a date, they start talking, blah, 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 kissing up and apale, nini, nini. And so they are in relationship that is not defined as boyfriend and girlfriend yet. So they're just like, they're seeing each other, they're kissing and stuff, but hawajaitana tu ni demu yangu ni manzi yangu or something like that. So let's say they're not exclusive, that's what I mean, but they're seeing each other. So they start doing that. Now during this time, they're seeing each other uku, but he's also doing these things with Kasisi on the side. So hii plan yao ya kuiba and stuff kwa magari nini nini, he's like, okay. Now, when they had the gun, when they decide to look for more people, they had to go and find more guns or something like that. Ama they just wanted another gun and not from the lady. Actually, do you know what? I lied a little bit. The gun from the lady, the old lady who was flirting with Kevin, Kasisi did not take it from her. The gun they had, they took it from OG, played by Calligraph Jones. Yeah. When they went to the old lady where she was flirting with Kevin, they were going to just to pay her. Kevin is the one who went to her but die for a gun. Now this time, well, they were going to do this job, kubwa, at the end. Yeah. But then before, they went to OG. Yeah. They went to OG kwa kaharasiwa kiasi just to prove that they're low, blah, blah, blah. They tawata seti nini OG. But then they took a gun from him. So this gun they had in the matatu, it was from OG, not from the elderly lady. It was from OG. Kasisi was in a relationship with Shigwan Shiko's character, Mamushka. And they had a son, Karl Marx. So they had this little boy, and so Kasisi tells Kevin, like, I can't go with this thing at home, so you better go with it to your place. I can't have a gun near Karl Marx. And so Kevin goes with it to his home. Hii nyumba ni nyumba simple. But this guy sleeps, alafu analala nayo under his pillow, which was weird because you have a bag. Why can't you put it inside your bag and put it kwa kabati ya manguo? Like, nobody is going to be searching inside your kabati and also going to the bag. But under your pillow, surely, and you're sleeping. And when you turn, that pillow inainuka kiasi or something. So anyway, when he did that, in the morning he wakes up, the gun is missing from under his pillow. And he goes to the sitting room and he finds it on the table with his sister, Mokeira, played by Jackie Vike. So anaipata hapo and is like, hii ndo mara yangu ya kwanza hata nimeshika hii kitu, manze nini nini. And that's when Mokeira realizes that the brother, hii pesa yote amekuwa akienjoy, sijui Christmas kula masose nini nini, ilikuwa pesa imepatikana kwa kuumiza watu. So she's like, sitaki kuona nini hii bunduki kwa hii nyumba tena. If I ever see it again, I'll be the one to take it to the police. And I never want your money. Don't ever give me your money ever again. I don't want it. And so Kev is like, he tries to beg her, but she's like, no, that's a done thing. So after this incident, they are walking kwa hiyo mtaa yao and they see a lady na bagi iko na laptop. And then they go to harass her like, hey, let her bag, nini laptop wake like tuko bag nini nini. And so she's screaming and they're taking the bag, blah, blah, blah. And when she turns around, Kevin says it's Olivia. Now, mark you, the reason Mokeira was in Kevin's room, it was because she was bringing Olivia's photo. So because Olivia had given her the photo to give it to Kev. Na ameandika paka dedication hapo nyuma like, hi Kev, nini nini vile nakufeel blah blah blah, kama ujisikii, kama you don't feel the same, just return the photo, it's okay. But then immediately that day, maybe it's meant to be like a couple of days later or something, but after 2 years, kapicha, they're walking, they meet Olivia, they go to steal from her, and then she's like, Kev, I don't know, I think she mentioned Saint's name. And the moment Amani Kev anasema Olivia, when OG was giving them this gun, he told them there's only one rule. If somebody identify while you are on a mission, they have to go. Like, you have to shoot them. You can't have somebody coming back later on and putting you in danger. So you have to. Now, ukiona situation ni chafu, don't do it. Just achana nayo, you'll live to do it another day. And if you meet somebody who identifies you, you put them down. So with that in mind, Kasisi, who was until this time mtu wa watu, jambazi wa watu, jambazi roho safi, iyo bunduki alishika hivi, enyewe what he said, ilimpatia some type of energy he didn't know he had in nini before. Because this man who was helping people, and they had made an agreement with with Kevin. Kevin had told him, even if we have this gun, let's make a deal that we never take out somebody because of their money. Like, we can threaten somebody, yes, but if they refuse to give us their money, we don't kill them because of it. And Kasisi was like, yeah, sawa, you na agree. But then this moment, when he goes like, Olivia, all hell breaks loose. And it's because he has the gun on his hand. So Kevin is like, don't do it, don't shoot her. I know her, she's my sister's friend. She would never say anything. Olivia will never say anything. Olivia's like, no, I won't say anything. And she's begging, he's begging. But then Kasisi goes like, okay, sawa. And then they go to walk away and they think everything is okay. Kevin is fine. And then Kasisi turns around and shoots Olivia. And she dies on the spot. Kevin is like, what? So Kasisi anamgonga, like they run, but then Kevin goes and shouts at him and tells him, I will never do this again. This is the last time. I never wanted to kill her. Why did you kill her? Like, I told you she was good. Na Kasisi anamwambia, yeah, sasa yuko poa because nibeshi na sister yako, until wakosana na sister yako, and then she will go and talk. So she had to go. So Kevin is like, I'm never doing this again, and your gun rudisha jumi staki. Like, hapo ndo tumeisha, staki job tena. So of course he's mourning Olivia, the sister is mourning Olivia, and wanarudishia nani hiyo gun, and he's like, wait, this gun is hot, what were you doing? Iko na bullets zote. And so they lie that they used one of the bullets by mistake. And so nani anawachana na OG, but then later on na history yote ya watu wakimoni ni nini. Baadaye Kev anarudi kwa nyumba, anapata OG's in the house. Yeye na alikuwa na guard wake. So they are there and Mokera is sat in that living room as well. So he's like, you tell me what you did with that one bullet, ama hapa naharibu kila kitu, naharibu hewa mbaya tena sana. Because you told me this gun, like the bullet, you used it by mistake. You shot by mistake while you're in the toilet, blah, blah, blah. But then there's a police officer, a friend of mine who's a police officer, who told me that there's a person who died and the bullet that was found on her came from my gun. So tell me, you should have warned me, ndo nisafishe rada, blah blah blah. But then they're like, so Kevin just had to confess, like, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to, it was an accident, I told Kasisi not to do it, but he did it anyway. And so Mokera is listening, and she hears the brother confessing that it was his fault that their friend died, like it was them who did it. And so Mokera is crying. Oji is like, okay, ningeharibu kila kitu hapa, but najua you're already suffering for something, so I won't do anything about it, but ujue tu mnakujiwa. So Kev is begging Mokera, because Mokera is packing, she wants to leave. Kev is begging her not to leave, but he's also calling Kasisi to warn him that wanakujiwa, because that threat was like same as Nairobi Half-Life, le maskari wanakuja, tunakuja kumalizwa. Well, this is happening. Mokera falls down and she has to be rushed to the hospital, I think. Yeah, she has to be rushed to the hospital. Nani was still on the phone with Kasisi, telling him about wanakujua, but he's like, don't worry. Kasisi is like, don't worry, I've already handled it. What this means is that Kasisi alipeana jambazi mwingine ndo maskari wa muue. So you see that guy who used to harass them, like they go, they work, and then he's the one who wants to come and get part of the cut without having done anything. So that one. So Kasisi did something, like alimpeana. So later on we see him, he's shot and he's dead kwa barabara huko mtaa. And so after that happens, so they take Mokera to the hospital, and the doctors are like, yeah, the Nini surgery needs to happen now, because she can't keep doing this. And so they go back home. I feel like I'm skipping something, or I'm jumping somewhere, I don't know. But I know that that happened. And so Nani has to make the money quick, Kevin, for his sister. Now, Kasisi goes to the doctor and is like, hey, you have a patient by the name Mokera Motego, and she needs to have a kidney transplant. And so I was wondering if you can do the tests on me to see if you're a match. And the doctor goes like, okay, sawa, we'll do that. And he was, and actually he volunteered to be the kidney donor for Mokera, but he didn't tell Kev. He wanted it to be a surprise or something like that. And so while they're doing that, no, okay, we need to do a proper job to pata hiyo pesa, because the doctor calls Kevin and is like, we have gotten a kidney for your sister, but you need to come up with 300K for us to be able to do this. And so Kevin is like, okay, sawa. So Kev calls Kasisi. By this time, he was still upset with Kasisi because of what he did to Olivia. But then he's like, okay, sawa, we'll go and do a big job just once. We take a huge amount of money, and then I help my sister, because that's why I'm doing this. And Kasisi is like, okay, sawa, I agree. But then itabidi tutafute kikosi. And so they bring on, were they 2 more people or 3? Because I remember there was a guy and a girl. I don't know if there was another guy as well, ama tu walikuwa 4. Anyway, Kevin now goes to the mama wa mboga, and he borrows the gun from her. Sasa huko ukichukua unapigwa sijui picha, and you're supposed to pay something at the end of it all, blah blah blah, which apparently Kevin was not supposed to agree to, because wakishakuwa na picha yako it's easy, because ile time waskari wanakuja wanataka mtu wa kumaliza just to prove a point, kuonyesha they've been doing their job, who do they go to? Hiyo picha ndo inapatianwa, huyu ndo anatafutwa. So very risky business. So he goes to Kasisi, and he goes like, yeah, nilienda kwa madhe akanipea. And Kasisi was like, no, kapigwe picha and everything. Manze, why did you do that? You shouldn't have gotten into that into that thing. Like, why? But then anyway, so they go and they do their thing. So wanataimatu wanaingia, wanawambia driver, drive the matatu to a certain place, and then they go there, wanaambia kila mtu atoke, laleni chini, let us see anything that you have that is worthy. Toa, and they do that. All the money, all the jewelry, all the phones, they take everything. Alafu Kasisi, don't know kama Kasisi anakuibia, alafu anakuacha ukicheka, anawambia mjichunge. huku nje kuna watu wabaya, mnaweza ibiwa. Imagine he tells them this while he's just stolen from them. Well, I'm paraphrasing, so like don't take it word for word, but he tells them something like that. And so they leave, wanaenda wanagawana, kasisi anapatia nanio pesa yote because it's for the sister's surgery. And he knows that he's going under the nini as well, but he's not telling him. So Kev agrees. He's like, okay, hao wengine wanapatiwa simu, they go and sell them, wapate pesa yao, akina kasisi wanachukua do. And so yeah, that happens. But hiyo time wakiiba, while they were stealing, one of the people kwa hiyo group was Kadesa, the people in that matatu. Kevin was going, madam, let up nini, inuka, aibu angalie sura. I don't even know why he did that. Like, mbona alimwambia muangalie. I just don't get it. Because she was lying facing the other side, angeiba tu kila naiba naende. But him having to ask her to turn, hapo ndo alimuona wakajuana. Like ni wewe. But then Kev, I think he did a signal so she didn't identify him. Ama kusema anamjua something. But Kasisi sensed something. Na akamuona hiyo sura pia. You see mistakes. They were committing mistakes hapo chini ya maji. Chini tu. He told the lady to turn. The lady turned. They looked at each other. They were shocked, both of them. Kasisi noticed this. Remember, Kevin doesn't want another one of his friends to be killed. So he doesn't say anything. Kasisi later asks, like, kulikuwa na kitu fulani hapo no, hakuna, she was just another passenger. But then Kasisi anaenda nyumbani ana Google. I don't know aligoogle ama alingetukwa nini ya Kev ama alifanya nini. But akaona picha ya Kev with Kadesa on, I think, Facebook or something. And so he put 2 and 2 together. And so he starts looking for her. So alikuwa zonishi Greenview Apartments ama sijui ni wapi. And so he goes looking for her because he wants to take her down. Nae, nani, on the other side, Kevin wants to protect her. So sijui alijua anaenda kumtafuta or something. He wanted to go and talk to her. But then this lady Kadesa, I don't know why she did what she did. She thought she was helping, but seriously, this was post-election. There was just some post-election violence. I don't know why she trusted the police. Kwanza in Kenya, sorry to say this, but in Kenya, going to report a friend, ati wewe ni mama, najua uko na watoto kwa hivyo utamchukulia kama mtoto wako ni ati, but yo, come on. So, the police station in that area of theirs, kulikuwa na corrupt cops, just like Nairobi Half-Life. At the beginning of the movie, there's this police officer who's retiring, a male one, and while alikuwa kwa ile scene, ile ya kwanza, when the movie is starting, yes, that one, he was on that scene, he was the one who was handling that case. But then alikitoka, because he was about to retire, he was looking at that whole situation and was like, there's something wrong here. So that guy was taking the evidence and taking photos, blah, blah, blah. He calls him and is like, you see that nini situation? Ebu, can you check into it? Because kuna kitu hired up. And so it is found out that body was staged to look like it was a gang-related incident, but it wasn't. It was a takedown by the police. So how they know that is because that person was shot, but there are no, what are they called, casings, bullet casings, ama zinitangwa nini, I don't know, like one, I won't explain, but the casings, they weren't there at the crime scene. Alafu mtu vile amefungwa tindo wake kama like it's a gang related thing, but it's not, because yeah, it looks like it was staged. And so they knew that, and they started investigate his story chini ya maji. And so kwa ile gari hapo katikati, actually kwanza kulikuwa wamefind out tuvitu, and one of the officers mwenye alikuwa kwa hii story ya kuexecute watu, she worked with him and she was very friendly. Oh, tutakumi sana, you know, like you're my dad, nini, ujinga mingi. So like you couldn't even believe that it was her. Now kwa hii incident ya kuibia watu kwa matatu, that police was there as well. I think he was sat at the front with the driver, and I'm forgetting this part. I don't know if it was Kevin, or if it was, I think it was Kevin. I think it was Kevin who was at the front with that police officer and the driver. Ama was it Kasisi? Please forgive me. Go and watch the movie and confirm who was sat there. And so while he was pointing the gun, kule ile namba inakuanga imeandikwa kwa bunduki so that you can identify who it belongs to. This retired police officer saw the number na kai cram. So wale waliachwa kwa wamelala, the police officer told them, msijali, I have a way of identifying one of the people who stole from us. So Kadesa he leaves a message for Kev and tells him, like, naelewa nini imefanyika, I'm not even upset, blah, blah, blah. This is the first thing she does when she gets home, by the way. But just know, there was this guy at the crime scene who said he has a way of identifying you. I think that's what got Kevin to act. So akaenda kutafuta Kadesa, I think awaongea ama protect or something like that, because he knew that if that was going to happen, nani watajua pia akina Kasisi, and then they will come for her. He was trying to protect her. So wote wawili wanaelekea mali Kadesa yuko. Kadesa naye ameenda kwa polisi. I don't know why she didn't go to look for Kevin mali anaishi or whatever to talk to him. I don't know. Like, there's so many other ways she could have handled this situation. But she goes to the police station and she asks for the female cop because ni mama. Ataelewa. Hoi, hoi, hoi. She sits down with her and she's like, so I'm here about that kidnapping that happened the other day, tukiwa kwa matatu, blah, blah, blah. And while we were there, I saw one of the thieves and I know him. He's a friend of mine and he's an orphan. His sister is sick. And I know he's doing this just because he wants to take care of the sister. Si mtu mbaya na kukujia ndio ukimpata umsaidie. Like umsaidie change life yake, si ati au aingie kwa system or something like kabla serikali ikuje muangamize or something like that. I don't know. It was just a lot of nonsense. She was talking and I was screaming. The first time I watched this, even though I had heard Mkurugenzi telling the story before, I was screaming. Because I was like, why? 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 You're going to the police to report your friend who is a criminal, alafu unawambia ati msimshike, msimuumize. Si mnaona hata mimi hakuniumiza, angetaka kutuua, angetuua, angekuwa mtu mbaya, angekuwa ametuumiza, lakini una bado niko hai. Na huyu mama anamwangalia tu, mama polisi anamwangalia, ni ukweli. By the way, si mbaya. Ni ukweli angetaka kuangamiza. And I'm like, yeah, Kadesa, why? Why? Bedhe watu walikuwa napatiwa majina za these African names. I love that they give them African names. But Kadesa is a Luya name. Alafu, the lady does not look like Luya at all. Anyway, she does that. She talks to the cop. And the cop, of course, they have a target. Now wanaenda kumtafuta. Kumbuka ile picha yenye alipiga kwa ule madhe akichukua hiyo bunduki. So, yeah, it was just all wrong. Now, the retired police officer, ashapiga amepatiana ile namba iko kwa gun, ameambiwa kwa nini under nani, and so he starts following her, that female police officer, because apparently ilikuwa either yeke ama ya huyo mwanaume, because there's a male cop that she was working with. So it was one of theirs. So, se wanaelekea kwa Kadesa kumtafuta. They meet there. Kev tells Nani, don't worry, I'm sorry, nini, because Kasisi alikuwa amepatia Kev chances za kuongea about this situation. Alimuuliza mara kadhaa, and Kev was like, no, hapana, nini, he was lying to protect Kadesa. But then they meet there and he's like, okay, sawa basi, nimesikia hivi na hivi, twende hivi, ndio tumpate unawares. So they go to a particular chom hivi, and they start fighting. So he pulls out a gun on him, they start fighting, blah, blah, blah. Kidogo kidogo, amegongwa, amerushwa chini, kisu imetolewa, Kevin amedunga Kasisi kwa tumbo mara kadhaa, and I'm like, Kev, mse anafaa kupatia sister yako kidney manzi. Mse amekusaidia kama ni a terrible path. You are the one who asked for it and he was there for you. And this is where it ends. Like, I understand you are trying to protect Kadesa, but manzi, anyway. He stabs Kasisi and he walks away. He takes the gun and he goes away. Anaenda mtaa anapata na Mamushka. Mamushka amekuwa beshte ya Mokeira since Olivia died. They have been hanging out. She's been coming to hang out with her because of like what happened to Olivia. And now because these other guys are more closer, so these guys are closer, so it means that I don't know, they have to be closer too, I don't know. So she hangs out with Nani sana. And so while wanamit hapo and blood is coming out of his nose and stuff, and so Mokera is like, what is happening? What happened to you? Kuna nini nini, mse mwingine, blah blah blah, we fought nini nini. And so she's like, bedhe umecheki Kasisi? I've been looking for him, I haven't heard from him. And he's like, no, I haven't. And then goes like, because he's supposed to be undergoing surgery tomorrow, he shouldn't be outside. He's the one who's going to be giving your sister a kidney. And Kev is like, what? So he goes, and I think he's trying to go back to where Kasisi is to save him or something, but he walks off. So Mamushka anabaki, kwani huko unajua, and then she's left there. He leaves, and before he goes too far, maaskari amekuja na gari yao, amemwambia ingia probox kama kawaida. Ameambiwa ingie ndani, ndio huyo amempeleka. They tell him to kneel down. They start threatening him, of course, to put fear in him, and they pull out a gun on him, blah blah blah. They're talking too much. Keva amekuwa sugu, anaambia kama unataka kuniweka chini niweke chini, acha kuongea vitu mob. And because they wanted to instill fear in him, but he was like, yo, ni siku yangu, kama mmeamua kufanyia kitu fanyeni. So eventually they shoot him, and so story yake imeisha. What upset me in this situation, I don't know if this is what really happened to the boy who this story is really about, ama ilikuwa tu now it was Abel's creative decision to do this, because ule askari, ule retired cop, he was on the side watching this situation happen. If he could have called backup, or I don't know, done something, Kev wouldn't have been killed, because he was there kwa mamiti anachungulia, anaona kile nafanyika. Then he went and reported them after the fact. I was like, a boy has already lost his life, and you are looking. Ulikaa hapo kwa mamiti ukiangalia. You are a police officer. There are ways you could have handled this situation where this boy didn't have to die. But anyway, as I said, I'm not sure if it was just a creative decision or if that is what truly happened kwa the original story for the boy who lost his life that way. And so Kevin dies. So the police drive off. Of course, ameambia huyu mwingine pick up the casings and let's go. Wakaenda ndo wanapan to that guy kwa misitu akiangalia akitingisha kichwa. And that thing pissed me off. But anyway, Kev is dead. So we go back to Nani sasa, that part that I was saying at the beginning of the video, where I didn't know that Kasisi hadn't died. In my mind, I don't know. And I've watched this thing, as I've said, either 4 or 5 times now. So Kasisi is on the other side. I think his phone rings. Ama is the one who calls. Alafu anasema like nimedungwa, niko mahali flani. They come and help him. Tunaonyeshwa ako kwa nini, anaingizwa hospitali. He's bleeding. He's with Mamushka and Mokeira. So they go to the hospital and they're talking, they're wondering. So Mokeira is worried. She's calling Kev. And she's wondering where he is. Kevin is not answering his phone. Mokeira is worried. And so Mamushka is like, oh, nashughulika huko, like, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. They talk. And also, like, Mamushka tells her that your kidney ni imelala kwa hospitali imepitishwa hapa mbio hivyo. So, I don't know. So, I would really like to know. I've forgotten the story that Nani told Abel. I'm not sure if, one, this part was part of the original story. Like the sister being sick, I've forgotten that story. It's one of the first stories kwa Mkurugenzi's page. So I'm not sure if that story was part of it. I think it was. But I'm not sure if Kasisi was supposed to give the kidney for the original story. But anyway, here she's shocked, like, to know that Kasisi is the one who's supposed to give her the kidney. And so while they're there, news zinatokea kwa TV. So unajua TV zinakuwa kwa hospitali, kwa news they report the death of Kevin. And they say he was an aspiring footballer, blah, 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 and all this. And they are watching this. So Mokera is crying and Nani is there with her. But pia daktari anakuja anamwambia Kasisi pia huko mambo yake si mzuri. So she goes and she checks on him, pia yeye dead. Both of them lost their lives the same night. Kasisi at the hands of Kevin at the hands of corrupt police officers. But yeah, so that is how it ends, with both of them dead and the lady is crying. So I don't know. What I would like to know is, did she end up getting the kidneys? The kidney, because even Nani was saying, Mamushka was like, hata umse kama anadai bedhe simaendo ukapata kidney zote mbili or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe I should rewatch the original story, because I'm not sure if she got the kidneys eventually. Ama tu ilisha hivyo, because the girl was on life support, so they could have kept him a little bit on longer on the life support, so that they could go to the theater. They get the kidney and they give it to Nani, to Mokera, because he had already said it was okay. But anyway, I don't know. So anyway, the video ends there with both of the boys dead. The police officers get arrested, the lady and the man, and it was thanks to this retired officer, which to me it was still like, yo, ungefanya something mapema. You didn't have to wait until the boy was dead. But anyway, such is life. You take njia ya nini ya upanga, hapo ndo utaishia. So it was sad, but yeah, that happened. And that was the end of Click Click Bang. So now the casting for this movie was very, very good. I loved everybody on that show. Most of them I was seeing them for the first time. I think this is Basil's first acting gig. I'm not so sure. Don't come at me if it's not. But I know for a fact that Nyakundi Saboke is an amazing, amazing actor. I love him. He reminds me of the late Oluenya Maina. Like, he was such a great addition to this movie, and I loved Oluenya on Nairobi Half-Life. So their characters were almost the same, because they were both majambazi wa roho safi, as I said, I think, on Nairobi Half-Life. So Nyakundi Saboke was an amazing actor. Jackie Vicky, of course, she's amazing. Ida Alisha, of course, she's from There's a Mother-in-Law. Shigwan Shiko, I think this was the first time I was seeing her, but I think she's also acted on stage, if I'm not mistaken. So she's a good actress. Like, all of these people did a very, very good job. Okay, all of them. I loved all their acting. Even Amina Hussein, I think this was her first acting gig. Not so sure, but I think it was. All these characters were good. The storyline was amazing. I loved it. I just loved everything about it. Apart from, of course, like that police officer waiting until it was too late for him to do anything. And also that lady mwenye alikuwa kwa nini, kwa shop, the shopkeeper, hiyo kutetemeka yake was unbelievable. It was just too exaggerated. But everybody else did such an amazing job. The characters came and they knew what they were supposed to do. They did it all. Like, even Basil Mungai, like, this guy, he looks like he has some kind of baby face. Hakai mtu anaweza act part ka hiyo, like be a gangster and stuff. But he played it so well. He did such an amazing job. And the way he was acting with Kasisi, they were playing well off of each other. His chemistry with Kadesa was good, like Amina Hussein. They had such amazing chemistry. They were flirting and stuff, and it was just so beautiful to watch. Ida, her blushing and everything was so beautiful. Jackie Vicky, of course, like the way she was behaving and enjoy Bradake and stuff. They were such siblings. Like, each and every one of those cast, whatever part they were acting, they had such unique chemistry, and I loved it. There's this part that I did talk about between Mamushka and Kasisi, where they do something PG rated, only over 18s, and that's why I skipped over it. But if you want to see some nasty, you go and watch the movie. And You can enjoy those parts as well. So yeah, I just loved it. I love the music choices. Of course, being a Kenyan movie and being a Philip production, mkurugenzi wachezangi na local talent na local music. They had the band who they like had the band came through for them so much. They did a couple of songs by Had the Band, and of course by Calligraph Jones, because he was part of the movie as well. So there was that. I was surprised, but Caliph's acting, like he's not an actor, but the parts that he played were, yeah, you could believe that he was whoever he thought he was. Okay, he played his parts. He played his parts well, so everything was good. The direction, of course, by Phil director. I mean, Philip Karanja is who he thinks he is. He did an amazing job. Yeah, the editing was done well. There wasn't any lagging. Like you could watch it and you could, like the first time I watched it, I remember I was locked in. I wanted to know what was happening, everything. Like I didn't want to miss some single bit. But then after I finished watching the movie, a couple of months passed by and I've forgotten the whole story, and I have to rewatch it. That is just being me. So yeah, but then I enjoyed it. Like it kept you on toes. Like you just wanted to see, okay, what is happening next? Okay, what is happening next? So that was really, really good. Mandhari, of course, Eastlands and your area there, wanaktianga inakwanga Jericho. They always show this place. I know it was on Sugar, it was on this movie, and it has been on so many other Kenyan movies. I don't know. I think inakwanga Jeri, if I'm not mistaken. Hizo nyumba za Jericho, Marish, they have a certain way they look. So I think ni huko, but where they were acting from per se, sidhani kama ni huko. Anyway, I don't know, but it was good. Haikuwa ya places mingi, it was mostly mtaa yao. So hawakuwa wanaonyesha places more, but I think CBD kiasi, but yeah. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't have a lot to say because Abel did his thing. He did, like the script was amazing. Phil's direction was amazing. So there's nothing to add or to remove or whatever. It was just amazing. That's all I can say. Go watch it. It's on Netflix if you have Netflix, but if you want to pay for it, kando enda kwa affiliatetv.com, so you can go and watch it there. I'm not so sure if it's still there, but I know they still carry their movies. So hawakuuzia Netflix and now it's property ya Netflix. They still have the rights to the movie, so it might still be on affiliatetv.com. So you can pay, I think it's from as low as to 50 shillings and above. So you can watch it either there or watch it on Netflix, and then come and tell you if you agree with what I've said. I know I didn't remove or give in a lot, but yeah, because for me it is just an amazing movie. I told you, I'm a very, is it a good critic? I'm a terrible critic. Like I don't criticize a lot. If I love something, I just love it. I love romantic dramas, although this is not a rom-com, but I just love what I love, and what I don't love, I don't watch. So whatever I'll be watching mostly, unless the acting is really terrible, I think I'm just always going to be telling you it was good. This one I give it a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I don't know. One of the two. I don't know why I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10. As I said before in another movie as well. So don't ask. But go and watch it and tell me what you thought about it yourself. Tell me in the comments down below if you thought it was a 10 out of 10, ama it was an 8, ama a 9, whatever, or even less, because kuna watu najua wale wenye mimi si watching local TV shows, those people, yeah, watakuja hapo waseme no. But anyway, it's a good watch. Make sure you watch it, as I said, either on affiliatetv.com or on Netflix. Okay, and then come and tell me what you think about it. Remember to follow me on Instagram, Mimi's Musings Podcast. I'll be really, really appreciative of that. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that whenever I post something new, you can always come back and watch. Okay.